Good afternoon, everyone. Today we shall discuss the topic organization and I can say packaging of DNA helix. Till now, we have discussed the structure and the characteristic features of the DNA helix. Right? Now we shall study how this DNA is packaged inside our nucleus. Now, if I talk about our cell, as you know, in the cell we are having a nucleus, and inside the nucleus we are having our chromatin material, and on that chromatin material DNA is present. Now just imagine one thing. Generally the cells, they are microscopic, right? We can't see them with the naked eyes. If I talk about the nucleus, it is quite smaller than even the cell. Now, if we have to see the thing that is again present in the nucleus, this cell is microscopic, this nucleus obviously microscopic, and it is quite small. Now just imagine about the DNA. You will say it is quite small as per our previous understanding. Now firstly, let us find out what is the length of DNA. In the previous topic we have discussed that the DNA is made up of nucleotides, right? And in the nucleotides we are having base pair, and we have studied the distance between one base pair. Okay, the distance between, like this, suppose let me draw a DNA helix. Like this, clear? Now, as you know, this is one complete turn. From here till here, this is one complete turn, and its pitch, the length of the complete turn, it is 3.4 nanometer, right? This we have done. Now you know, in this we are having nitrogenous bases. Suppose if I am having A, then here I will be having T. We have done this everything, right? And there will be double bond. Second, if I am having G, then here I must be having C. So this we have discussed that the distance between two consecutive base pairs means the distance between this pair A and T is one pair here, and G and C is one pair. So the distance between the consecutive pair, it is 0.34 nanometer. This we know. Or if I convert it in meter, it will come out to be 0.34 into 10 to the power minus 9 meter. So this I know, the distance between two consecutive base pair is 0.34 multiplied 10 to the power minus 9 meter. If I have to find the length of this complete DNA, the length of the complete DNA that is present inside our cell, then this you have learnt in mathematics, that if I know the distance between two consecutive base pairs, and if I multiply that by the number of base pairs, then I shall get the total length. So here also I am using the same formula, the length of DNA that we have to find out. This will be equal to distance between two consecutive base pair multiplied by total number of base pair. So distance between consecutive base pair multiplied by total number of base pair. Am I clear? Now, if I see here, the distance between consecutive base pair is 0.34 into 10 to the power minus 9 meter. Here, clear? And if I talk about the number of base pair, then the number of base pair in the human cell, it is 6.6 into 10 की power 9. 6.6 into 10 की power 9 number of base pairs are present in the mammalian human cell. Am I clear? This data has been verified experimentally. We shall discuss about this in detail in the Human Genome Project. Now if I will multiply these two, then roughly I'll get 2.2 meter. So just imagine the length of our DNA is 2.2 meter. Just imagine how long it is. 2.2. This is something about 1 meter. Just double of it is the length of our DNA that is present in one cell. Now just think, this cell is microscopic. How this long DNA can be fit into this small nucleus that we can't even see with our eyes? Just think, how is that possible? How your DNA is packaged? That is our today's topic. Packaging of DNA. How your DNA is packaged in a small sized nucleus, although its length is 2.2 meter. Just compare these two. So now for this, just see this. This you might have seen at your home. It's a reel, right? Now just imagine I am having a thread. Just see. Right? This thread, if I'll untie, just imagine its length. How many meters it could be? Am I clear? How many meters it could be in this single reel? Just imagine. This is somewhat 1 meter. And here, how many meters could be there? So this thing you have to keep in mind. Like this, your DNA is arranged. This thread is of how many meter you can't even imagine until you will untie this. Right? But that huge DNA, it is compacted in this structure, in this small structure. Means this long thread, it is organized in this small reel, only in this area. But if I open this thread, it is so long. This is what is happening in our DNA. Our DNA is super coiled. Just see the coiling. Like this, our DNA is coiled. If I give you the basic example of small intestine, you know our body is this much in width generally, right? But if I talk about the intestine, again its length is quite long. So how your small intestine is arranged inside your body? Again, by coiling. Your intestine is coiled like this. So this is what is happening inside your cell. The DNA is wrapped around something. Because if the DNA is present in a straightwise manner, then how 2.2 meter can be adjusted in the small nucleus? Not at all possible. So your DNA is arranged like this. Suppose this thread is your DNA. It is wrapped over something. Now on which it is wrapped over, we shall discuss what are these things. Now let us talk about the packaging. So basically, as you know, we are having two types of cells, prokaryotic and eukaryotic. In both, the packaging of DNA material is different. Let us study them one by one. How the DNA is packaged in case of the prokaryotic cells and how it is packaged in case of eukaryotic cells. Now, understand one thing, as I have given you the example of this reel, the thread. that is being representing the DNA. The thread is wounded over a thing that you can see inside. A cylindrical structure is there. It means your DNA is wound over something, and that something, what is that? Now just use your knowledge. DNA is having negative charge. You know, the DNA is having a phosphate group, and due to that phosphate group, your DNA carries negative charge. Now just think, the DNA can wound over a thing that is negative or positive. Just think, your DNA is negative. Now this negative DNA will wound over a positive thing or a negative thing. Its answer will be positive, because positive and negative attracts. This you have done in physics and chemistry, right? So basically, if I'll think that this thread is our DNA, then this cylindrical structure, it must contain positive charge. As my DNA is negative, so this thing over which the DNA is wounded, that must contain which charge? Positive. Now let us study. In prokaryotes, as you know, the nuclear membrane is absent, or I can say the well-defined nucleus is absent. Suppose I am drawing a prokaryotic cell. Here I am not having the nuclear membrane. Now, absence of nuclear membrane, does that mean their genetic material would be scattered in the nucleus? Sorry, nucleus is not there, nuclear membrane is not there. Now, if there is no nuclear membrane, suppose this was nuclear membrane. Now in prokaryotes, I am not having any nuclear membrane. Now does it mean their genetic material would be scattered in the whole cytoplasm? No. The DNA is the most important thing of our body, of anyone's body. So how the DNA is arranged in the prokaryotes? Again, that I have said you the example of bonding. Okay, so this similar thing is happening in them also. There are certain proteins, and these proteins, they carry positive charge. These proteins work as this cylinder basically. Now the DNA, as you know, it contains a negative charge. This DNA is attached with these proteins in the form of loop like this. The DNA will be attached on this like loops. Means the DNA is not scattered in the cytoplasm. It is confined at a particular place. No doubt nuclear membrane is not there, but these positively charged proteins, they are binding with the DNA. Am I clear? And this results in the formation of loop. Now, if I talk about the eukaryotes, obviously the organization would be complex. Like if I talk about our cell, inside the cell we are having nuclear membrane. Okay, so now our DNA will be present inside this. Now how it is arranged, let us see. This is understood that the DNA must be coiled over certain thing, and actually that certain thing is proteins. In our body, basically in the nucleus, we are having positively charged proteins, and those are known as histones. Okay, over those histones, our DNA is wounded. Am I clear with this thing? Now, if I am saying like I am having histones, so our body is having proteins, they are known as histones, and these carry positive charge, and over these histones our DNA is wounded. How? We shall study the structure. Now I would like to tell you one thing, why the histones carry positive charge. Actually, as you know, histones, these are proteins, and proteins are made up of amino acid. And amino acids carry charges in their side chain. Suppose in their side chain, if they are having plus charge, then the amino acid will be having positive charge, and as a result the protein formed will be having positive charge. Am I clear? And the amino acid that is having the negative charge in the side chain, that amino acid will contain the negative charge, and as a result the protein that is formed by that amino acid, that will contain the negative charge. So basically this histone, it is made up of such amino acids that contain positive charge in their side chain. Basically I can say the histones are rich in two amino acids. These amino acids, they contain the positive charge in their side chain. These two amino acids are lysine and arginine. So basically histone protein, it is rich in these two amino acids. No doubt a few amino acids are also there, but these are in abundance and these are positive. So as a whole our histone is also positive, and on this positive histones our DNA is wounded. Am I clear? You can imagine this thing. This cylindrical structure represents the histone and this thread represents our DNA. And in this way our DNA is arranged in the small nucleus. Now let us talk about the structure of histones. Basically, 4 histones, they make an octamer. Okay, 4 histones, they make an octamer, and over that the DNA is wounded. 4, I'm just drawing, suppose 1, 2, 3, 4. As this is 3D structure, so 4 histones, the rest 4 histones, they will be present at the back. This is a 3D structure. Okay, the rest 4 are present at the back, but this is 8. Am I clear? This is known as histone octamer. And on this histone octamer your DNA is wounded. Clear? Like this, DNA will come, it will wound over this, like this. This is a 3D structure, this will go at the back, like this, and your DNA will leave. Am I clear how your DNA is wounded? Just imagine this. Over the histone, your DNA is wounded. And this complete structure is known as a nucleosome. This is known as a nucleosome. Okay, so now, so basically your DNA is present in the form of nucleosome. Suppose here I am having first nucleosome. Like this, so many nucleosomes will be there in your nucleus. Even if I say 300 million nucleosomes are there. So first nucleosome, inside structure, you know, inside the nucleosome we are having 8 histone. Over that the DNA is wounded. Am I clear? So this is histone. 4 proteins and 4 are at the back. Total 8 histone, and over this the DNA is wounded. This makes one nucleosome, and like this we are having even 300 million nucleosomes almost. So like this, first nucleosome, second, third, fourth, like this we are having so many 300 millions that I said on an average. So now these nucleosomes, they are having the wrapped DNA over the histones. Clear? Now you can imagine like this reel. Like this reel, if I am having so many different reels and they are joined together. Am I clear? This is what? Basically this reel is representing the nucleosome here. Histone proteins and the wrapped over DNA. Now, these are connected with the help of linker DNA, like this. Okay, the nucleosomes, they are connected with the help of linker DNA. So like like this the DNA is arranged inside your nucleus. Suppose this is the nucleus inside the cell. So here what will I be having? Nucleosome, linker DNA. Just see, it is actually a microscopic structure. Suppose a nucleosome, then linker DNA, nucleosome, linker DNA, nucleosome, linker DNA, like this. Am I clear? And the nucleosome itself contains the histone proteins over which the negatively charged DNA is bounded over. Otherwise your DNA is 2.2 meter long. That can't be adjusted in this small sized nucleus. Clear? Now if you will see this structure, if you will see this through an electron microscope, it will appear like beads on a string, as if I am having a string, and on that string I am having beads like this. So this structure gives the appearance of that, beads on a string. Am I clear? So nucleosome model that we are discussing, it is also known as beads on a string model, as nucleosomes they appear as beads. Clear this much? Now so this is how basically your DNA is packed. This long DNA is packed in our body in the form of nucleosomes. Now if I'll just make a rough thing, what is happening? We were having DNA. DNA get arranged to form the nucleosome. Different nucleosome that I told you, first, second, third, different nucleosome, they will join together with the help of the linker DNA and they will form the chromatin fibers. Chromatin fibers, you know, your genetic material is present in the form of chromatin fiber. This we used to draw also. In the cell, in the nucleus, we used to draw the thread-like structure. These are chromatin fibers. Now the chromatin fibers further arranged and they form the chromatin material. Now this chromatin, as you know, when the cell will undergo division, this chromatin, it will change to chromosomes. It will get condensed and now it will form chromosomes. Let me draw it like this. Cell was there, nucleus was there. Now the chromatin material, it will get condensed and it will change into the chromosomes. So am I clear how the DNA is arranged in your body, how it is packaged inside your cell? The DNA is bounded over the positively charged histones and together it is known as nucleosome. Now if I talk about the structure of nucleosome once again. As I told you, there are 8 histone proteins, that is, it is histone octamer. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 are there at the back. This is H2A histone, this is their name. This is H2B histone. At the back also, H2A will be there, H2B will be there. H3 histone and H4 histone. Over this, the DNA would be bounded like this. Suppose I am drawing it like this. It will come from the back. Am I clear? Now it will go like this. So now here, suppose if the DNA is going, clear, there is again one histone. That is basically acting as a binding unit. This is H1 histone protein. Clear? Now, we have discussed about the chromatin material. So inside our body, we are having 2 types of chromatin material. First is euchromatin and second is heterochromatin. Now what is the meaning of these 2? If I talk about the U means true. This what I understand by the meaning of EU, trio. So this chromatin is somewhat trio. Now what is the meaning of this? Basically, in the chromatin, like we are having chromatin, some regions, suppose this, some regions when you will stain them, they will get very light stain. Those regions are known as euchromatin because they are lightly stained. This I am talking about a single chromatin. In a chromatin, if you will stain this chromatin, some regions will appear light and some will appear dark. Suppose this region will appear dark. So this dark chromatin region will come under heterochromatin. Actually what is there? This lightly stained region, it is transcriptionally active. Transcriptionally active means it can make this DNA can make mRNA, and this mRNA obviously it can make proteins. So this lightly stained region, it is transcriptionally active, it can make proteins, and that's why it is known as euchromatin, true chromatin, because it is coding for proteins. It is transcriptionally active. And second side, just see here, the dark stained region, it was find out that the dark stained region, the darkly stained region, it was transcriptionally inactive, means it cannot code for proteins. So that's why this is known as heterochromatin. So we are having two types of region, euchromatin and heterochromatin. When the DNA is active, then it will constitute the euchromatin, and when it is transcriptionally inactive, then it will constitute the heterochromatin. Thank you.